What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Christian Corey. You know, this whole checking the pitchers thing is it getting out of control? I mean, can I say that only like a couple, not even a week into the umpires and MLB really enforcing this rule upon pitchers? Because I feel like it's getting a little bit out of control, a little bit ridiculous. It's a little bit asinine if you ask me. You've seen it, I've seen it. Last night was the apex of this checking pitchers thing really kind of blowing back in MLB's face, in my opinion. I mean, you got three pitchers, okay? You got three guys who I believe were highlighted in last night's rendezvous when it comes to checking pitchers for foreign substances. This thing was ridiculous. You got Max Scherzer for the Nationals. He was pitching against the Phils in Philadelphia. You got Freddie Peralta of the Brewers. He was pitching against Arizona in Arizona. Then you got Sergio Romo of the Oakland A's pitching against the Rangers in Texas. Now, all these guys got checked, the three guys I mentioned. Now, again, there could be some other guys that got checked last night that obviously weren't as publicized as these three guys were, because these three guys were all over social media. I mean, ESPN was posting about it, which they never do. Twitter blowing up. You got IG blowing up. You got everybody and their brother posting about it. The Sergio Romo thing was hilarious. We'll get into that. I mean, all these guys were getting checked last night. These three guys, and it was just a bombshell for MLB when it comes to publicity. It was everywhere on social media, all on IG, all on Twitter. People were ticked about it, and rightfully so. It's getting a little ridiculous. So let's get into the specifics, and let's go over what happened in each situation. Really, the first one I'll go over is Freddie Peralta. So Freddie Peralta's pitching against the Diamondbacks. They want to check him, which they do. They checked him, I do believe it was once. No big deal. Nothing really happened there. So the Freddie Peralta thing with him and the Brewers in Arizona wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, it happened. They checked him like they do every pitcher, but it wasn't as dramatic and it wasn't as theatric as the Scherzer and the Romo incidents. So that was Freddie Peralta in Arizona for the Brewers. Then you got Max Scherzer. Now, Max Scherzer was pissed off, and you know, rightfully so. He's pitching and he's shoving against the Phillies in Philadelphia, mind you. My buddy Phillies Hot Dog was there for the game last night. He was shoving against Philadelphia Phillies and Bryce Harper. You want Joe Girardi, a highly respected manager in Major League Baseball, won a championship in 2009 with the Yankees, now managing with the Phillies. So highly respected man, a winner, you know, for the most part, and he wants to go check Max Scherzer, which, hey, you want to check him? That's fine. That's fine. You have the right to. He checks him once. And Scherzer's ticked off about it. Here's a video. I mean, he's like, all right. I mean, you can tell he wants to punch somebody. He's like, all right, having the hands out, got the glove out, got the hat out. And he's like, all right, I got nothing on me. Give me the glove. All right, cool, that's whatever. So that's like, I think, the first time. And then I think it happened once again, and they checked him a second time. And I do believe the second time really ticked him off, because I actually think they went out to the mound. According to the Phillies manager, Girardi, they wanted to check his hair, because I guess he was going to the cap a lot. He was doing one of these and stuff like this. They couldn't find anything on him when it comes to the glove, the hand, the belt, but when it comes to Max Scherzer, he's going through his hair. I mean, you know, he's taking the cap off, brushing his hair. The Phillies manager, Joe Girardi, is suspicious, which I get, but alright, this is where it gets ridiculous. So they want the umpires to go out to the mound, which they did, and they literally told Max Scherzer to take off his cap, and the umpire took his hands in a grown-ass man's hair and brushed it through his head to find something. How ridiculous is that? You're telling me you're so suspicious of Max Scherzer, because he's doing great, so suspicious of Max Scherzer that you need the umpire to go out there and put his own, a grown man, hand in another grown man's head on a baseball diamond to check to see if this guy has anything illegal on him. I mean, what are they, at the airport doing a strip search? I mean, they don't do this much at an airport. Like, this is ridiculous. I mean, Joe Girardi, it's ridiculous, Joe. He did say some comments afterwards. Take a look at what he said.
Joe, what did you see that prompted you to ask them to inspect Scherzer?
Yeah. I've seen Max a long time, since 2010. Obviously, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. But I've never seen him wipe his head like he was doing tonight, ever. Going like this. right? So it was suspicious for me. He did it about 4 or 5 times. It was suspicious. I didn't mean to offend anyone. I just got to do what's right for our club.
Let me tell you something, Joe. If you're that desperate as a major league pitcher to get some type of advantage via foreign substances, that you're willing to put it in your own hair, I highly doubt that Max Scherzer, with a hair thinning, that he wants to put anything else in his hair. Literally, you think the guy's gonna put pine tar in his hair, sunscreen in his hair? Maybe sunscreen to cover up the bald spot. But seriously, Joe, come on, man. That is ridiculous. I gotta get to something that was a good point that Clayton Kershaw brought up of the Dodgers. He basically said, you know, it's ridiculous what happened. It's hilarious to think that a highly respected manager, Joe Girardi, would have that type of assumption on a highly respected pitcher in our game right now, and has been for many years, Max Scherzer. And he also brought up the point, which was very interesting, and I'm 100% with him on this. He said, if a manager of a club has a suspicion about an opposing pitcher using foreign substances, and they request the umpires to go out and check them, and after 2 times or something, they cannot find anything on that pitcher, then the manager who requested the check should get punished. I think that's a great idea. So basically, in my mind, I see this working like the challenge play, because, you know, if you're a manager and a guy's running down first base and the umpire calls him safe and you think he's out, and they challenge the play and they find out, no, he actually was safe and you were wrong, then you lose the challenge. But if you're right and, you know, he actually was out, then you keep the challenge. You can keep challenging throughout the game. Now, I mean, will this slow the game down? Yeah, it'll slow the game down. It already has. I mean, it's ridiculous. So that's the whole Max Scherzer deal. I mean, you got Clayton Kershaw, one of the best pitchers in the game, shoved last night in San Diego in a loss on a quality start against the Padres. You know, also think this is ridiculous and saw what happened between Max Scherzer and Joe Girardi. So that's interesting there. Comment down below what you think of Clayton Kershaw's idea. And then I want to get to Sergio Romo, because Sergio Romo was the most entertaining in my opinion. So Sergio Romo, I don't really know how many times he got checked. It might have been once. I think it was once. So he comes off the field and he's ticked off. I mean, he's basically stripping for the umpire. I mean, he's dropping the drawers. This is embarrassing for MLB. I mean, you really want your pitchers to be this pissed off. And again, you know, the umpire's like, look, dude, hey, you know, I don't want to do this to you. Do you think these umpires really want to go up to a major league pitcher and say, yeah, dude, you're dominating, but, you know, I don't think you're doing it clean? Could you imagine if a guy's shoving through 9 innings, okay, and he's throwing a no-no, or a perfect game for that matter, coming out for the 9th inning, and then, you know, the opposing manager to go out and check the guy who you haven't had suspicion with throughout the whole full 8 innings, and you want him to go out there and check him after 8 innings of work, going out there for the 9th inning to finish off a no-hitter. Could you imagine that happening? Because I know it will happen at one point here this season. Some manager is going to check some guy who's throwing a perfecto or a no-no in the 9th inning. It's just going to look embarrassing, and the guy's not going to find anything, and then the pitcher's going to throw a no-hitter, and the manager's going to look ridiculous. The MLB is going to be, wow, this is what it resorts to. I don't mind the umpires checking pitchers. I really don't mind that. I like the game to get clean. I get that. But I have a problem when there's multiple requests from the opposing manager and the opposing team's manager. Multiple requests. Not just one, multiple. That's why I think Clayton Kershaw's idea of you check him once, if he has something, great. If he doesn't, you're done for the game checking the guy. That's a good idea from Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers. When it comes to using foreign substances overall, in my opinion of it, I don't think it's that big of a deal, because you got a hitter using the same thing. When it comes to pitchers using foreign substances, you know, if the hitters are able to use pine tar and stick them in batting gloves, then fine, great, good, go ahead. I don't mind them using that stuff. And I don't think the pitchers should be, you know, called out and be reprimanded for using the same stuff, basically. Scherzer came up with a good point. He's like, fine, you know what, I won't use anything, but I'm going to prove to you that I don't have anything on me. How? Because I'm going to throw about 96 up to the chin to Bryce Harper and knock him out. That's what I would do if I was Max Scherzer. I would shove it to Girardi by throwing at the Phillies' best player's head and say, oops, it slipped. Because you can't say, well, the guy's using pine tar, shouldn't have slipped. Look at all the thing on his hand. It shouldn't have slipped. That was intentional. Pitchers can now say, oh, sorry, it was slipped. It slipped, man. Anytime anybody hits anybody, it's just say it slipped. And everybody would agree to that, because they can't use anything, especially if it's wet and it's raining and it slips. You gotta hit him in the face with 95. Oh, well, it slipped. In my opinion, whatever the hitters use to help them with their grip on the bat, aside from obviously batting gloves and gloves, pitchers should use too. It's a fair playing field. Alright guys, I look out for today's video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below your thoughts, and I'll catch you later.